Question 5. We have math is fun here. So which option below shows an algebraic equation that contains decimals and fractions using multiple steps? Choice C. So 5.5x minus 4 and 5/10 equals 15 and 85/100. All right, let's solve for x here. So if you take into consideration the order of operations, we have to flip it, Usually we do the addition and the subtraction at the end of the order of operations when solving. This time we're going to do the addition first. We notice here that there's a subtraction sign. It says minus 4 and 5/10. Well, or 4.5, you can say. Well, we're going to add 4 and 5/10 on both sides of the equations here. So first things first, let's add 4 and 5/10 on both sides of the equations here. We're going to place the 0 here. All right, 4.5. If you notice, we just placed the 0 here, and that's a simple placeholder. We did align our decimals because we're adding and subtracting. All right, let's move on forward here. This negative 4 and 5/10 on the left side, what's going to cancel out when we add 4 and 5/10. All right, and let's begin here adding on the right side of the equation. So we have 5 plus 0 giving us 5. Let's drop down to 0. We have 8 plus 5 giving us 13. Let's drop this 3 here, carry over the 1, and 1 plus 5 plus 4 gives us 10. Drop a 0, carry over the 1, and 1 plus 1 gives us a sum of 20. So when we rewrite this statement, all right, let's make some space here. We can rewrite this as 5.5x equals 20 and 35/100. Perfect. So now we notice that on the left side of the equation, we're multiplying 5 and 5/10. The opposite of multiplication is division. So what we're going to do here to isolate the x is divide both sides by 5 and 5/10. So moving on here, divided by 5 and 5/10. So divide on both sides. Perfect. All right. Well, that's going to cancel out there, isolating our x, because 5 and 5/10 divided by 5 and 5/10 equals 1. Okay. And we can actually rewrite this statement at this moment. X equals 20 and 35/100 over 5 and 5/10. And we can actually leave it at that. At this point, we already solved for x. We can input it into the original equation. But let's go ahead and let's take it one step further and simplify by carrying it out in long division. So we're actually going to divide. So we have our divisor on the outside of a long division bar. Give me 1 second here. It's okay there. All right, so we have 5 and 5/10 outside the division bar, and we have 20 and 35/100 as our dividend inside the long division bar. All right, so let's make 5 and 5/10 a whole number, carrying over the decimal place value 1 place value to the right. And what we do to the divisor, we're going to do to the dividend. And we're also going to copy the decimal placement on our dividend on the quotient side. So that gives us 55 wholes. Okay. 235 and 5/10. And let's not forget here that we're going to copy the decimal point on the quotient side, right up here. Perfect. All right, so 55 goes into 203 how many times? I say 3. Yeah, let's go with 3. 55 times 3 is 165. If you notice here, 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 3 again, plus 1 is 16. And that gives us a product of 165. All right. 203 minus 165. Okay. This 3 is going to become a 13. The 0 is going to become a 9. And we're ultimately going to borrow from the 2. And that's going to convert into a 1 here. So 13 minus 5 is 8. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Let's drop down to 5. We have 385. And I believe 55 can go into 385 7 times comfortably, evenly, without any remainders. Let's go ahead here. Let's do the math here fairly quickly. So 55 times 7, 5 times 7 is 35. Drop down the 5, carry over the 3. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 3 is 385. 385 minus 385 equals 0. So here, in decimal form here, we have x equals 3 and 7/10.